My parents gave my brother a luxury birthday weekend. I got a card that said maybe next year. So I quietly booked a one-way flight. Hey everyone. Before we kick off today's video, I've got a favor to ask. We've noticed our channel isn't getting as much love lately, and subscribing is one of the easiest ways you can help us out. It's quick, free, and it means we can keep bringing you awesome content. Your support really means a lot, so let's work together to keep this channel growing. Thanks a bunch. Now, let's dive into the video. Hey, I'm Leo, 27, and I've always been the quiet one in my family. Not in a shy, shrinking violet kind of way, but more because I learned early on that speaking my mind usually got me an eye roll, a dismissive laugh, or a don't be so sensitive from my mom. Maybe it wasn't always like this, or perhaps I just didn't notice when I was younger, but now it's pretty clear. My birthday this year was like the final straw that broke the camel's back. Let me explain. My younger brother Victor turned 25 in March, and my parents treated him to a super fancy weekend getaway. They rented this modern glass lodge 3 hours out of town, complete with a wraparound deck, hot tub, fire pit, and private dock. They even flew in 2 of his out-of-state buddies and got a private chef for the weekend. The whole extravaganza was plastered all over Facebook, with my mom gushing, so proud of our baby boy celebrating Victor in style. He deserves the world. There were tons of pictures of them popping champagne, fishing, playing poker, and chilling by a campfire. One pic had Victor with the caption, "A king deserves a castle." Seeing those photos, I didn't say anything, but deep down, I realized I wouldn't get the same treatment, not because they couldn't do it, but because they didn't think I was worth it. I shrugged it off, though. Victor's always been the golden child, charismatic and super social. Meanwhile, I was the straight-A kid, the one who stayed out of trouble and hit the books instead of sneaking out. Now fast forward to April 5th, my birthday. I kept my calendar wide open, didn't make plans with friends or book anything myself, just in case they had some surprise up their sleeves. Around 1 p.m., I got a text from my mom, "Stop by the house when you're free today." That was it. No exclamation mark, no happy birthday, nothing. I sighed and decided to go. Maybe they were playing it cool and had something small and heartfelt planned. I got there around 3 p.m. Victor was lounging on the couch, scrolling through his phone. Dad was out back mowing the lawn, and Mom was in the kitchen humming a tune. She saw me and smiled like I'd just dropped by on a random Tuesday. "Oh hey, Leo," she said, "you made it." I stood there for a second like, "Yeah, you said to stop by." She nodded, wiped her hands with a dish towel, and pulled out a cupcake from the fridge. "I picked up a cupcake for you," she said, putting it on the counter. It was one of those simple grocery store cupcakes, chocolate with white icing, no candle. Then she handed me a card in a plain white envelope, already half opened. Inside was just a folded card with maybe next year in metallic letters. That was it. Victor didn't even glance up. I let out a little laugh, more surprised than anything else. I looked at my mom and asked, "Really, this is it? A store cupcake and a card that says maybe next year?" She crossed her arms and leaned on the counter. "Don't be so sensitive, Leo. You're an adult now, we figured you didn't need all the hoopla." But Victor got a whole weekend bash with a chef, a cabin, and even a crown. "Well, Victor's had a tough time lately," she said, raising her voice, "and he's more of a party person. You're so private, we didn't think you'd want a big fuss." I just stood there, the card limp in my hand, the cupcake starting to sweat from the fluorescent lights. My face felt hot, but I kept calm. "It's not about a big fuss. It's about the difference," I said. She rolled her eyes. "Honestly, Leo, this is why we didn't plan anything, you always make it about you." That hit me hard. I'd spent most of my life trying to excuse their behavior, convincing myself it was all good intentions and I was imagining things. But at that moment, I realized it wasn't me, it never was. I didn't argue, didn't raise my voice. I just pulled out my phone, snapped a pic of the lone cupcake next to the card, looked at my mom, and said, "Thanks." Then I turned and left. I went straight to my apartment and booked a flight to Lisbon for the next morning. I had been saving up for a vacation for a couple of years, waiting for the right moment, and this was it. That night, while packing, my dad texted me with no hello, just, "Where did you go?" I didn't reply. Instead, I posted a photo on Instagram at the airport. So, there I was, chilling in the airport lounge, clutching my boarding pass and ready for my birthday retreat adventure. No fancy chefs or extravagant plans. Victor was cool with that idea after about an hour, and my cousin Danielle got on board too. Then, I noticed Mom checked out my story, and not long after, her call popped up on my screen. I let it buzz and then ignored it, got comfy, sipped my drink, and waited for the next alert. It didn't take long, another call, then a text, "Leo, this isn't funny. Call me." But I wasn't joking, I was just over being the backup plan. I was finally putting me first, and Lisbon, it was just the start. I landed in Lisbon the next morning, early enough to see the golden sunrise glistening over the terracotta rooftops. The air was fresh and had this subtle mix of ocean breeze and pastry aroma. As I stepped out of the airport, I took a deep breath and felt lighter than I had in ages, not just vacation vibes, but like some invisible weight I didn't even know was there had lifted. My hotel was this charming little spot sandwiched between two faded pink buildings in the Alhama neighborhood. The walls were a bit uneven, and the balcony had a quaint view of the city. The bed creaked when I sat, and the old but neat flooring felt like home, no expectations, no labels. I didn't respond to my family's texts right away, not even after the fourth call. The tone sort of changed after I posted a pic of a pastel de nata with "Breakfast of Kings" as the caption. At first, they were confused. "You're in Portugal? Is this a work trip? You didn't tell anyone." Then came the guilt trip. "We just wanted a chill day for Victor. He didn't even ask for all that. It was supposed to be funny. You're taking it too seriously." But Mom's last message hit me. "You always act like we treat you so badly but never say what you actually want. Maybe things would be different if you spoke up more." That's when I realized she still didn't get it, never had. This wasn't about parties or jealousy, it was about years of being ignored and dismissed. Every time I tried to speak up, I was told I was too sensitive. They went all out for Victor, while I was just background noise, acknowledged only when convenient or when I wouldn't play along. On my second night, I was in this cozy little tavern, nursing a drink while a woman sang, her voice gentle but moving. As I listened, I finally texted Dad back, "I went somewhere I mattered." The response didn't come right away, but the next day Victor sent a group message, "Dude, what's going on? Mom's losing it. She's calling everyone, asking where you are. Why are you being so dramatic? It was just a cupcake. Grow up." I didn't bother replying. Instead, I browsed Airbnb and decided to extend my stay by 2 more weeks. Made a list of things to see, maybe even a trip to Spain. I hadn't even told my job I would be gone this long, but after years of unused vacation days, they owed me, and I owed it to myself. By day 5, word had spread back home. My aunt sent a surprise message, "Heard you're in Europe. Good for you, you deserve it. Let me know if you want the family to back off." Then my older cousin Greg, whom I hadn't seen in ages, messaged too, "Bro, remember your 18th birthday? You got a card and a handshake, Victor got a car. Just saying, you're not crazy." I stared at it for a while. I wasn't crazy or overreacting. I'd just gotten used to being an afterthought. But now that I was pushing back, everyone acted like I was the one losing it. The thing about having space is it gives you perspective. Wandering through cobblestone streets and watching sunsets over the To River, I started to understand that maybe I was never the problem. They didn't like it when I stopped playing my role. By day 7, the chaos at home hit a new level. Mom posted some cryptic thing on Facebook, "When your kids disappear without a word, you start to wonder if the world's upside down." It got nearly 60 comments, with relatives saying stuff like "hope everything is okay" or "message me." Someone even tagged me. I didn't respond. Instead, I posted a pic of me at a cafe in BIM, sunglasses on, smiling, with the caption, "Sometimes the best birthday gift is peace." 5 minutes later, Mom called again. I ignored it. Then a message came through, but not from my parents. I got this email from my dad's work address, not from Victor. "Leo, call me. This is getting out of hand." I just sat there like, why is he texting me from work? Then, almost right away, my boss messages me, "Hey, your mom called the office for you. Said it was urgent. Everything okay?" My hands went ice cold. It wasn't just panic, it felt like a full-on crisis. They were pulling in everyone, even those who had no business being involved. It hit me, this wasn't about my birthday anymore. This was about control. They'd always watched over me, boxed me in. Now, because I'd stepped out of line, they were trying to reel me back in like some stray. I took a deep breath, heart racing, and typed out one last message, "You didn't worry when I was at your house with a cupcake alone. Don't start worrying now. I'm fine. I'm just not coming back the same." And I meant it. The old me, who tolerated the quiet digs and passive-aggressive jokes, was gone. He stayed home with that sad cupcake on the kitchen counter. But the version of me who was sipping cappuccino under Lisbon's sun was just getting started. It was clear, I wasn't asking for their permission anymore. The next morning, my phone was filled with missed calls, 2 from Dad, 3 from Mom, one from Victor, and several other random numbers, probably mom calling from different phones or dragging the extended family into this mess. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. I was done being the good son who kept the peace and said it's fine when it wasn't. I wasn't going to repeat the same old scene where I showed up, got overlooked, and then got guilt-tripped. After brushing my teeth, I walked to this tiny bakery near my hotel. The lady behind the counter greeted me like she did every morning, with warmth and a real smile. I got 2 pastries and a coffee, then grabbed a seat outside. The sky was blue with a few clouds, and the street was waking up, people sweeping their porches, kids off to school, a guy selling books from a cart. I watched them, feeling that weird mix of envy and relief. These strangers, who didn't know anything about me or why I was running, treated me better than my own family. That realization hit me hard. Later, I did something I'd never done before. I turned my phone all the way off. Not just on silent, not on do not disturb, completely off, and left it in my hotel room. I wandered for hours, through winding alleys and open plazas, past old churches and bright murals. I got lost in Bairro Alto, stumbled into a small gallery where a guy was painting his dreams. He told me I had sad eyes and strong shoulders. I laughed, thinking it was probably the most honest thing I'd heard all year. I didn't think about my parents, the cupcake, or Victor's vacation. I thought about me, who I was before I had to shrink myself down to fit the role they cast for me. That night, I bought a journal. On the first page, I wrote, "You're not selfish for choosing yourself." On the second page, "They only call it overreacting when they don't like the reaction." On the third, I listed all the times I was sidelined, my 18th birthday forgotten until dinner when they tossed me a $20 gas card, while Victor got a full-on party. They showed up late and left early during my valedictorian speech for Victor's soccer game. 2 Christmases ago, I gave thoughtful gifts and got nothing from Victor, but mom just said, "He's busy, don't make him feel guilty." It wasn't about the gifts. It was a pattern screaming, "You're not the first priority. You're not even close." The next day, I turned my phone back on and it just exploded with messages, voicemails, missed calls, everything. Screenshots too, because apparently, someone had seen my Instagram post and shared it in the family group chat. Now, all my uncles and aunts were weighing in. Some were nice about it. "Leo, didn't know, your post broke my heart, you were always quiet." Others, not so nice, running off and airing family stuff on social media isn't adult behavior. The real kicker? My mom emailed a photo of my empty childhood room. Furniture rearranged, bed gone, books boxed, my desk replaced with a treadmill. Her message? "Didn't think you were coming back. Figured we'd use the space. Not an I love you or a come home when you're ready." So, there I was, treated like I was just in the way and not even a hint of an apology. It was like they were relieved to see me go. I sat there watching TV, teeth clenched and heart racing, feeling something shift inside me. It wasn't sadness or anger, but a kind of icy clarity, call it resolve. I took a deep breath and shot off a quick message, saying, "No need to make space for me, I've already found mine." And then, I pulled a move they totally didn't see coming. I logged into my bank account. See, while Victor bounced from one job to another, leaning on my parents when rent was due, I'd been stashing money away. I had built something real, investments, a growing side hustle, and a cool 6-figure safety net. And now, I planned to use it, not just for plane tickets and croissants, but for something big. After a few calls and some paperwork, I took a leap of faith. By the end of the week, I'd signed the lease for a cozy little flat in Lisbon, brick walls, big windows, and even a nook for writing. It wasn't fancy, but it was all mine. Then, I did something else. I wrote an email. Nothing dramatic, just a straightforward resignation notice. I mentioned I was off to chase new adventures abroad and thanked them for everything. I left out the part about mom's embarrassing calls to the office, but I think my boss got the hint. Her reply came fast, "We'll miss you, Leo, but good for you. Go live your life." And just like that, I cut ties. No more putting reminders for family birthdays on my calendar only to forget them anyway, no more showing up just because I had to. I'd worked hard for years, being the quiet, patient, nice guy, and I was done. But just when I thought I'd wrapped it all up neatly, something pulled me back in. Out of nowhere, on a random Thursday morning after a chill walk by the water, coffee in hand and sun on my back, life had slowed down in Lisbon, and I was starting to own it. I got an email from Jason, an old college buddy. We hadn't talked in nearly a year, but he'd been tight with Victor once. The email subject was short: "Saw this, thought you should know." Inside was a screenshot of a Facebook post by Victor. It said, "Family isn't about who runs off when things get tough, it's about who stays." Proud to be helping mom and dad rebuild after Leo's betrayal. Underneath, there was a pic of my old room, now painted a boring beige. My books were gone, and where my college diploma had hung, there was now a photo of Victor shaking hands with some local big shot. The caption? New beginnings. The comments were even worse, Aunt Marissa throwing shade, saying she was proud of Victor for stepping up, as if I'd always been the odd one out. My cousin's wife labeled me immature for leaving without talking to the family. And the final blow from my own mom: sometimes the prodigal son doesn't return, but the son who stays builds the future. I read those words over and over, feeling numb. They weren't just scrubbing me from the picture, they were rewriting the whole story. Suddenly, I wasn't the steady one who tried to keep the peace. I was the runaway, the one who didn't care, while Victor was cast as the hero staying behind to help mom and dad in their self-made crisis. They knew I wouldn't speak up, they were counting on it, banking on my distaste for drama and confrontation. But then I made a decision: no more silence, no more fading into the background to keep the peace. I fired up my laptop and started typing. It wasn't some angry rant, that's not my style. I just laid out the truth, calmly and clearly, like laying out receipts after being questioned for years. I posted it without a flashy photo, just words. For those who've heard a story about me, here's mine: I didn't run away. I didn't abandon anyone. So, here's the deal: I decided to stop trying to earn the love and respect that should have just been there naturally from my family. On my brother's birthday, our parents went all out. They rented a lake house, hired a fancy chef, and basically rolled out the red carpet for him. But on my birthday, I got this lonely store-bought cupcake and a card that said, "Maybe next year." When I opened up about how hurt I was, they brushed it off, saying I was too sensitive. So, I snapped a quick pic of my sad little cupcake, quietly dipped out, and booked myself a flight to Lisbon. It wasn't me throwing a fit, it was me setting a boundary. For years, I played the part they wanted: quiet, helpful, and no trouble at all. I watched my important moments get ignored, my achievements downplayed, and my feelings dismissed. But I stuck around, always giving them the benefit of the doubt until I realized that showing up for people who don't show up for you isn't noble, it's just ignoring your own needs. Since leaving, I've gotten tons of texts, some sweet, others not so much. For those saying I should have spoken up, I did, plenty. It just didn't hit them until I stopped playing along. I'm not looking for pity or applause. I just want the truth out there without any guilt trips. I didn't run away, I chose peace, and sometimes that means walking away from people who never really see you. I clicked on a post and then switched off my phone for 2 days. When I turned it back on, I was bombarded with comments and messages. My story had gone viral, getting screenshotted and shared all over. People reached out to say they'd been the overlooked sibling too, and thanked me for voicing what they couldn't. The message that really stood out was from Danielle, a cousin on my dad's side. We hadn't spoken in forever. She said she always sensed something was off about how I was treated and was glad I got out. That was the start of others speaking up. Not everyone backed me, some just doubled down. My mom sent more passive-aggressive texts, and Victor, well, he congratulated me on my pity parade. I didn't bother replying. I was done with the drama and ready for a life that felt real. I joined a writing club in Lisbon and snagged a part-time gig editing English pieces for a travel mag. I even picked up cooking again, something I hadn't done since college. I made real friends, people who didn't know about my past with Victor or my family drama. They just enjoyed my company without any strings attached. A month after my piece blew up online, I got an email from a publisher. They wanted to turn my story into a memoir. At first, I hesitated, but then I remembered all those messages from people who felt seen by my words. So, I went for it. A year later, my book was released in 11 countries, titled Maybe Next Year, Choosing Yourself When They Never Did. The dedication was simple: for the kids with cupcakes and cards who kept waiting for next year. Your story doesn't need their permission. My parents never reached out again. Victor did once, sending a screenshot of the cover saying, "Hope the attention was worth it." I didn't reply because it was never about attention, it was about truth, and when you speak the truth clearly, it echoes louder than silence. Now, here I am, living in a sunny apartment on a chill street in Lisbon. I'm writing, laughing, loving, not too loud, not perfect, but totally happy. And every April 5th, I don't wait around for a text. I go get the biggest, fluffiest cupcake in the bakery, with candles, sprinkles, and a little note that says, "You're worth celebrating this year and every year." And for the first time, I actually believe it.